In the late 1990s, the internet was messy, and companies like Yahoo and Excite were the undisputed kings of organizing it. They operated as massive media portals, and their business model relied on trapping users inside walled gardens of content, weather updates, and chat rooms. At that exact same time, two Stanford students, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, were working out of their cramped student housing. They were building a search engine based on a different structural logic, one that prioritized relevance over raw keyword matching. In 1999, Page and Brin approached Excite to sell their entire project. The initial asking price was $1 million. After some back and forth at the negotiation table, Excite's venture capitalists talked the students down to an incredibly low $750,000. Excite's CEO, George Bell, quickly rejected the deal. Yahoo looked at the same technology and showed a similar lack of interest. They let the students walk away. The exact cost of that rejection becomes clear by fast-forwarding just 5 years. By 2004, the student project had evolved into Google and went public on the stock market. The company achieved a market capitalization of more than $23 billion, turning early employees into instant paper millionaires. Yahoo, relegated to the sidelines, could do nothing but watch. Their former rival had become a massive financial competitor right in front of them. This leaves a glaring question. Why did the smartest, most dominant executives of the dot-com boom look at the core technology of the next 20 years and confidently say no? The answer starts with a clash of technological philosophies. Legacy search engines operated on easily manipulated superficial keyword matching. If you searched for a term, they simply looked for the page that repeated that word the most times. This is the abstract from the original Stanford computer science paper, where Brin and Page outlined their alternative. They laid out a specific method for sorting human knowledge. They called their core mechanism PageRank. Instead of counting words, PageRank mapped the structure of the web itself. It treated hyperlinks as academic citations, using math to judge a page's authority based on the quality of sites linking to it. Excite's engineers actually ran a side-by-side test, a bake-off between their own engine and the early Google prototype. The results were clear. Google pushed the chaotic spam out of the way and delivered a clean, highly relevant list of answers. But Excite's executives saw a major problem. They feared the Stanford product was too efficient at answering user queries. The legacy portals tracked a metric called stickiness. Ad revenue depended on users staying on the site for as long as possible. If a search engine gave people the exact information they sought, those users would leave the site immediately. Excite passed on a tool that solved the search problem so effectively it threatened their ad-driven business model. Back at the negotiation table, Larry Page took an aggressive, uncompromising stance regarding the integration of his technology. He issued an ultimatum to Excite's leadership. They couldn't just license Google's algorithm. To make the deal work, Excite had to completely rip out their own search technology and replace it from the ground up. George Bell refused. He had hundreds of engineers on staff and believed that tossing their work aside for an outside project posed an unacceptable cultural risk to his company. Page's demand for a total rebuild stemmed from the physical limitations of the hardware itself. Legacy search engines relied on a few expensive high-end servers to handle their traffic. Google utilized a new method. They clustered together thousands of cheap, commodity desktop PCs to divide the massive workload. They operated with a software-first philosophy. Google expected cheap hard drives to fail constantly. Their code was written to instantly reroute search traffic around broken machines, ensuring a user's query was never interrupted. Google wasn't just offering an algorithm. They were building a scalable, self-healing machine that made the legacy portal hardware obsolete. Google rapidly outgrew its suburban garage in Menlo Park and expanded into a massive Silicon Valley campus, devouring the search market along the way. Years after their initial pass, Yahoo returned to the table, this time offering billions of dollars to acquire the company. Google firmly rejected the offer. The balance of power had permanently flipped. Major changes in technology rarely look like a safe bet to incumbents in the present moment. They look messy or threaten existing revenue streams. Real leverage comes from identifying changes in how data is processed early, especially when legacy players dismiss them as cultural risks. Excite and Yahoo had plenty of capital and talent. They failed because they optimized their businesses for the internet of the past, while two students were assembling a system designed to scale at the same rate as the internet itself.